motion that I'm working on. Ready? And begin. It starts like this, one word at a time. A story builds. So too in dance, one step at a time, set in motion, ideas become flesh. I am the bastard son of Steve Paxton and Trisha Brown. Steve, postmodern Hermes, winged messenger, delivers me tumbling into contact improvisation at the tender age of 18. Then on to Trisha, mercurial force, who agrees to let a mortal boy into her inner circle of sophisticated female calligraphy. I am blank, a complete novice, and they instill in me a deep love of pure physics and motion. Their renegade minds are linked with the minimalism of the New York art world, circa 1970, the delights of abstraction and purity of form over the histrionics of theatrical dance. These were my pillars, my early gods of motion, and my body becomes a map drawn from their experience with them. There's the work, always the work, serious, impossible, and liberating, but socially, they're a revelation. The elaborate parties and dinners with labyrinthine conversations about the details of weight, momentum, energetic pathways and volume, never content or motivation. Their world is populated with the details of physical facts and the process of gathering them, of systems, of pedestrian moves. But their fate isn't mine. I maintain a deep and enduring love of the factual body, but it's the early 80s and I want something else. Why did I think it so urgent to build a language of movement that felt like identity? The world I lived in, fast, chemically fueled, sexual, but extravagant. The way my body worked, the way my mind raced and spun, the music I listened to, the media and the art that I looked at, the fashion that I loved. Why did I think a moving model of my careening gender was something that would be of interest? How does this start? It starts like this. I remember the moment of becoming me, of knowing that I am here and the world is out there. I am swinging on a backyard swing set, hurling high up into the air, little pelvis penduluming up and down through space, a body measured against the charcoal gray corduroy texture of the shingled wall that is my house. This is me and that's everything else. I am a single separate person in space, my body apart and in motion. I come from a large, loving, Italian-American extended family. Everyone's on high volume, the calmest conversations seeming like riotous arguments to my friends. This is just how we speak, and speaking is definitely on the menu. Secrets? Never. Quiet? Rarely. Emotions? High. That's just the way it is in my family, abundant, warm, and chaotic. We are Italian-American New Jersey. You already know the accent, the cologne, gold chain crucifix, horn pendants and scapulas, the Virgin Mary, St. Chris and Anthony medals, novenas. It's all there, but I'm outside of it, unable to make it work. I'm caught in the Kodak Klieg-light glare, spinning in the pink dress shot through with gold thread, that pink plastic buttons up the front, flaring out like a parachute to land me in crashes on the carpet of my living room floor. I kiss my brother between bouts of tornadoing around the room, dizzy with laughter, squinting against the camera lights, always smiling or crying into the blinding glare. My mother Lorraine has 3 sisters, all with husbands and kids. With my grandparents Marie and Phil, they meet at ours every Friday for dinner. My mother like some magnetic, loving force, drawing everyone into her warmth. My grandmother, sweet Marie, she's the benevolent protector, and I her youngest and favored. She is loving and embracing with pizza dough triceps that she lets me jiggle to my heart's content. Her countenance is so soft and lightly wrinkled, creases so friendly and inviting, pendulous breasts that seem godly and human all at once. Her hues of silver, gray, and blue, and her scent of Estee Lauder eau de toilette are enough to drop my pulse into a Buddhist trance. So on these Friday dinners, they invariably ended up in a fight, and they became known as Friday nights in the fights. Friday night at the fights. It would start like easily enough with crazy dinners, and my uncle, who was a barber, always gave us haircuts. The Flintstones were on, Game for being played. And then when dessert came out, there was always anisette, which is a liqueur that Italians drink incessantly. And it would start kind of quietly, my grandparents fighting. And, you know, I'm not sure what it was about, but it always happened every Friday night. And maybe it had something to do with my grandfather's drinking, or maybe some indiscretion that I didn't know about. But it would start slowly and build and build. And Marie would embrace her operatic nature, and she would fight back, and it would escalate like a train chugging up a mountain. And it would come to the pinnacle, and she would rip open her dress, and the buttons would fly everywhere, and she would scream, "Phil!" And she'd be standing there in her white slip, half naked and red-faced, and we all would just freeze. And my grandfather, the last time I remember this story, he said, "You should live for 100 years," and she almost did.